Good evening and welcome, my Purification Warriors. This is our Purification program and Detoxification program for January 2021. Dang, what a year last year was. And all the more reason you should be doing a 21-day program for cleaning up your body, because I know what you guys did to it last year. It's been very evident because my patients keep telling me how terrible they ate and what they felt like. So this is the time to clean everything up. So just know that this is a wellness journey, and it's 21 days, kind of clean you up from the holidays. It's a program. You're either doing the 21-day purification or you're doing the detox balance. I'll explain both. Either one will work. I prefer the 21-day purification with the supplementation. I've done both, and it's just my preference. But if you don't like to do a lot of supplements, then I recommend the shakes, but you have to do 2 shakes a day because that's where all the supplementation is. So we'll talk about that. And there's a new cookbook link that I'll give you. We're going to talk about in a few minutes. I want you to do organic things, best you can, grass-fed, wild caught, all that good stuff. And I'm going to make you a master to shake. It's weird. This is the first time I've done the 21-day on Zoom. So it's hard because I'm used to making food for you. So that's one part that's different. I apologize. I'll just make it and eat it. And I could just show you what I make. Maybe that would. So last night we were on the purification for a week. We have, let's see, we started last week. So on Sunday night is our pizza night. Well, we didn't have our regular pizza we do. So I made a pizza with pizza crust with seeds. I made it with some quinoa, some flax seeds, some hemp hearts. I can give you the recipe. I roll it out. I put egg and a little olive oil and water, roll it out, bake it, and then I just throw the stuff we can have on it for our 21 day. So we had spinach and tomatoes, and I used nutritional yeast for the cheesy flavor to it. But it makes the our pizza night complete. So we're good with that. So here's the other thing we're going to do is we're going to keep calm this week. I want you to think about eating clean. We're going to get back to where you're supposed to be. And I have this link available to you. You can either email Tina or Marianne. They can email you this link. This is on Standard Process's website. They have all the detox recipes. I haven't tried this new one. This just came out. So I'm going to just show you a couple of the different menu items are on there. So some ideas for breakfast. So what I want you to see is that if you're starving yourself on this program, you're doing it wrong because you need to fuel your body. So they give you some excellent recipes. If you're a baker and if you want to give it a try, go for it. I do more simple. I mean, these are all things that are, you can do kale guacamole. So you mix some kale in with your guacamole. I mean, it just gives it a little twist. Vegetable and quinoa soup. We do a lot of soups this time of the year because it's just so easy. We make big pots of vegetable soups, and then we can eat off of it for a couple days. Salmon. I mean, these are all tasty recipes. I just want you to show you there's something for everybody. Remember, after day 10, you can have your animal protein, but if you need it before that, you're welcome to have that. This gives you some ideas. Here's a chicken one. And then here's a veggie one. So the first 10 days is no animal protein. So you could do a veggie burger like this with sunflower seeds. And let's begin. So the 21-day purification program, why do we do it? Well, we want to lose weight, we're tired, we've had poor digestion. We just really need to clean ourselves up from the year of COVID last year. And, we made bad choices, but this is the time to make the correct choices now. So 80,000 chemicals that are registered in the US. Many of these chemicals this is what disrupts our body systems, our endocrine systems, our immune systems, our nervous systems, our reproductive systems. So we have a lot of things happening here. And we get exposed to it all day long. And it's not just the foods you eat, but we are what we eat. So those diets that are high in refined fats and sugars and salts are processed. They contain a lot of pesticides and artificial ingredients. And that's where that toxic buildup happens. So we have a choice. Everything you put in your mouth is a choice. And I always say it's a choice of when you eat something, it's either an act of nutrition or an act of suicide. So I want you to start choosing better pathways. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Near perfect, but not totally perfect. I mean, I still have foods that may not be the best for me, but I still eat them like over the holidays. My rule is if it's homemade, I'll eat it. But if it's not, I generally stay away from it. If you look at your food chemicals, the stats in the United States, 80,000 chemicals are registered for use, and the FDA says you can use them in your foods. 800 million pounds of herbicides are used every year, and 167 chemicals, industrial chemicals, are found in adults, like all of us, that even don't have any employment related to those exposure of those chemicals. So that's pretty scary. So that's telling you where that's coming from. So when we talk about being toxic, our bodies are so amazing. I always say we have more wiring than the space shuttle, but we drive our bodies around like garbage trucks. We, bump them and put crappy food in them, and then we get mad when it breaks down on us. So this is a great way to start your year and clean up for your year. So we have endogenous toxins and we have exogenous. Endogenous are inside us, exogenous are ones we're exposed to. And we have a system that we're designed to use to do a metabolic detox. But, we just have never, had the mindset that how destructive we can be to our body. And our body was never designed to handle the stress and the foods that we put in it. So toxins affect your health by giving you difficulty sleeping or inhibiting sleep, your digestion or GI problems, food cravings, weight gain, mental clarity is reduced, and low libido. So we live in a very toxic and chemical environment. We have all these things: air pollutants, cigarette smoke, personal care, health, heavy metals, household cleaning products, your herbicides and pesticides, pharmaceuticals, preservatives, additives, trans fats, and so many more. And, if you, for me, like when I go out in the morning, if I go out for a bike ride and I can smell somebody smoking, if you can still smell it, you're breathing it. So we can be inadvertently exposed to toxins and not really, have a choice. So this is all the more reason we want to always do a 21-day. We do it twice a year. I always do it in October before my birthday. I know you're tired of hearing me say that, but this is our 15th year doing it as a class. So you're part of a tradition now. So these are kind of some of the ideas, what we call exogenous, and then they turn into endogenous by converting to carbon dioxide and free radicals and ammonia. So we have organs that are in our body to assist with this purification. So we have a liver that filters your toxins and it aids in metabolizing your fats, your proteins, and your carbohydrates. It makes sugar, it breaks it down. It makes fat, it breaks it down, and helps transform many of those toxins that we're exposed to into relatively harmless agents. And then the kidneys are really important in getting rid of that filtering that waste and getting rid of those toxins. And it also helps to, have our body regulate the right sodium and phosphorus and potassium to make the body function properly. So the small intestines, you've heard me talk about digestion. That's super important. If the stomach is not acidic enough, then it's not breaking the foods down, so we're not able to absorb them properly. So it's a small intestines like the guard dog for the immune system. For the digestive system. If it's small enough particle and the small intestine says, "Hey, I'm going to let you in," and makes a mistake, then the large intestine has to deal with it. If the small intestine says, "No, I can't do this," then it comes out the front chute. But if it gets past the small intestine, it goes out the back chute, and it can come out pretty quickly if things are not set up right. So large intestines, and then probably the biggest thing I want you to take away with the large intestines is that 75% of your gut-assisted lymph tissue, your whole immune system, is actually in your large intestine. You'll hear me talk about gut flora and building your good bacteria and creating a good bacterial environment to break up those nutrients. We need that. But also 95% of the serotonin that we use for our brain is made in your gut. Only 5% is made in the brain. So if you're suffering from anxiety or even depression and things like that, all the more reason to kind of manage your gut. After the purification, sometimes we'll have to have an appointment together we may unfold some things that have been kind of hiding for years. So that's something we can talk about after the purification program's over. But large intestine is super important for getting those other toxins out of the system. So this is called a metabolic detoxification. system. So it has 3 phases. Phase 1 is to unlock it. So it takes those toxins and opens them up and makes them very fat soluble. And those fat soluble things are then need to be more water soluble to be gotten rid of. But the problem is in that phase 1, when they unlock it, it makes some of those toxins even more toxic than they were to begin with. So it then goes into phase 2. This happens to us every single day and all the time. We don't have to, we can help it move along a little bit better, and we can certainly do a lot of things to slow that process down. But just remind you that we have the system already in. We are going to make this system work optimally for us. So phase 2 is to neutralize, and these highly toxic substances from phase 1 then become neutralized and are made even more water soluble, so then they can be go into the phase 3, which is excreting it from the body. And usually we eliminate it through either urine, feces, lymph. Those are several ways we can get rid of that. So you can see how the kidneys can be an important part, especially the intestines. So the other thing I wanted you to really understand, and the reason why I'm so passionate about this, not only is the liver, which is our main concern here when we're doing some detoxification, the liver has over 600 functions that we know of. They're assuming probably 700 to 800 other total functions. They just haven't discovered what they are yet. But not only is it a primary organ of detoxification, but it's a huge factor in your immune system. It's one of the key frontline immune system tissues in our whole body. And it's ideally positioned to kind of detect the pathogens and, when they enter the body via the gut and get them out. So this is really important that we have our liver working optimally, especially in this time of COVID. I know most of you are doing your thing to keep yourselves, nice and strong. We'll talk about more things you can do later on, but I really want you to understand the really super big effect of the liver being really ready to do its job. And when it can actually do the detoxification optimally, it also improves your immune system. And remember, when we talk about viruses, let's just step off that for a second. When we talk about viruses, we are all exposed to them all day long, and our body has a way to fight them. If our immune system is weakened by eating foods that are not supportive to our body, and our liver gets overloaded, then we're going to be more susceptible to those viruses. A simple example: my sister and her boyfriend. I don't think they're on the call, so this is good. They're both flight attendants. My sister, she's done the purification. She keeps her weight pretty good, does her job to keep everything good. But her boyfriend, on the other hand, has a history of diabetes, and he's taking medication for diabetes and medication for hypertension. They both get tested regularly. He tested positive, she tested negative. The only difference is he takes medication for diabetes and hypertension, so that weakens his total immune system and makes him more vulnerable. So my goal and passion is really to teach you to be well, so that we can be strong to fight any kind of infection or virus. So diet contributes to our toxic load as well. When we look in the grocery store, look at the fast food places we have around. MSG is in a lot of foods. High fructose corn syrup, trans fats, and sugar probably are most bountiful in our foods. That doesn't count all the pesticides and insecticides either. So what we're eating, probably 3,000 chemicals are added to our food. A little bit more than that. The average American consumes around 75 to 80 pounds of sugar annually. If I'm not doing that, somebody's doing my share. And if you're not doing it, somebody's doing all our share. So be mindful that sugar contributes an average of 16% of the total calories in American diet. And this is leading to our big, factor of 68% of our population is overweight or obese. And, with COVID, that's one of the big things with COVID is that anybody that is in that obese category, and that's, 30, if your BMI is 30 or over, you're going to be more susceptible to getting sick than somebody that's not. So when we talk about foods being added, the other thing we want to talk about is that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration actually says, hey, it's okay to have some of these foods in here. Some of these substances in these foods. So carnauba wax, they say, hey, it's okay. It's an anti-caking agent. It's a lubricant, resurfacing agent. Ethyl glycol, washing and removal. It's actually one of the big, parts of any kind of antifreeze. So, and it's in our food, and it's in our mouthwash and our toothpaste and so you need to read your labels. I mean, I can't come to your house and do that, although I probably should, but start reading your labels and see if any of these foods or any of these substances are added to your foods. So that brings us up to carnauba wax and all our little gummy bears and all our little gummy vitamins and all our little, gummy, whatever we're eating. Guess what? They put carnauba wax in there. They actually put car wax in there. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's so you have a shiny poop at the end of the day. I don't know. But just know that when we're eating these foods, it's actually in there. And I'll tell a story. Marianne will hate this. She's listening, but she's in the other room. She bought organic gummy bears, and it's just her I guess her entrance into the 21 days. She always gets a bag of gummy bears. So she was really bragging about how she got gummy bears that were organic, and I'm like, did you now? And I'm like, but they still have carnauba wax in there. No, they don't. They're organic. So I said, well, go get the thing out of the garbage can. She goes and pulls it out, and she's like, I'm like, what's the matter? She goes, okay, I hate when you're right. But, those are the foods that are in the substances that are in our foods. Ethylene glycol, we use it for antifreeze, and it's sweet tasting viscous liquid. So guess what? They put it in ice creams. You know why? So that it's easier to scoop it out of the container. So, if you're going to eat an ice cream, it's okay, not on the 21 day, but make sure the ingredients are milk and cream and, some kind of fruit in there. And, it's going to have sugar, but you're not going to have ice cream all the time. So I want you to look at real food versus fake food. When we went to Mexico a couple of years ago, they had a market, and this is what we walked through here on the left is this market, and it was just gorgeous because all these foods were just there, and it was interesting. You didn't really see any fast foods. Everything was kind of homemade there. It was amazing. So if you haven't done this, and it's hard because we're doing Zoom, if you can get to the Eustis office, because you're doing the 21 day, I give you this as your gift, is to come do the InBody 570, we call it the Truth Slayer. And I got this last year because it's very, very important in really assessing your body. So we normally charge $45 to get on it, but with you being in the purification program, and some of you have already done it, a great way to start anything is to really give you some information of what's going on inside of your body. So it does a whole body composition analysis. It tells you intracellular, extracellular water, which is your total body water. That's your organs, your blood. Your muscles are 75% water. Your dry lean mass are your bones, and that makes up your lean body mass when you add those two together. And then we have to throw the fat in there, and that gives us our total body weight. So the beauty of this is that it really analyzes the muscle to fat ratio. So we look at this little slide right here, and you can see how you have a down arrow and an up arrow, and then a neutral zone. So this person is in their range. Their muscle mass is kind of low compared to their body fat. So if you look at that, we can see that if we would move the muscle mass up and drop the body fat down, we could pretty much stay in the same weight. And then it will calculate your metabolic rate and then your BMI. So anything over 24 puts you in the overweight category. Anything over 30 puts you in the obese category. So if you haven't done this before, like I said, it's hard for us to do a weigh-in now, but you're welcome to come in the Eustis office. If you want to go in the Winter Park office, we do have a handheld that's not quite as extensive as this, but I would really like for you to be able to have that opportunity. It's just a scale that's very sensitive, and in Winter Park, the building is rocks and rolls a little bit with the train, so I can't have it there. So I have to have it on a flat surface. So you'll have to get your passport out and come up to come up to Eustis. But we can schedule that if you call the office. So you can see here the percentage of body fat is 36.9 for this particular female, and we really want to keep women between 18 and 25. For men, it can be between 13 to 18, maybe up to 20, and that would be a healthy percentage of body fat. So most of my patients don't realize how much their body fat is until we measure it. So it's really important. So we want to really work on getting you into a normal range and keep you out of the overweight and obese stage. So the other thing I like about this, it actually shows the muscle. And when we do it from time to time, we can show where you're putting the muscle on. And I think that's super important for you to see, especially if you are a challenged loser. So that means that maybe the scale doesn't really reflect your weight, but this will show us exactly where your muscle is. We can compare it to the time before to see where you put muscle on or where you lost muscle. And you can see this person here has a left leg that's stronger than the right leg, a right arm that's stronger than the left arm, and the trunk is always going to be more because it's a bigger surface area. And then this is actually represents inflammation. So this patient in particular would have some increased inflammation, and most likely is happening because of um, diet, and that can be fixed by the 21 day. And sugar is a big factor. So if you come in, over a period of time with this, you can see that it tracks the weight, and you can see in this particular patient, this is a female, that she started at 143.9 and dropped down to 130, and then look at her muscle. So her muscle went from 44 to 43.2, and her body fat went from 41 to 36. And then the inflammation kind of went up and down, but as you change the diet, that's going to happen. So that's a really good progression. I would like to see more muscle mass and less body fat. And then it shows an actual segmental fat analysis. So it shows you actually where the fat is on your body and how much. So the trunk fat is one we really, really want to worry about here. This person is not too bad, but we look at the trunk fat, and so that brings us to not metabolic rate. You don't need to really worry about that, but this visceral fat. So on visceral fat, that's that belly fat. That's danger fat. On men, it's heart attack weight. On women, it's congesting the liver, and also can be now, we've earned it just as much as the men have. It's a heart attack weight for us as well. So we really want that visceral fat. And if you don't know what yours is, that's really important that you get on the scale to find out, because that's really where we call it the truth slayer. So this visceral fat level is really an indication of your total overall health. So we really want to work on getting that level down under 10. I like 5 to 6, and the lower the better. So this is kind of gives you a little bit of a reflection here. So you can see this guy's muscle mass was much more than normal. So that's okay because he's working out, and his body fat dropped down to just below normal, but he's a competitive athlete. So it can show you how the strength training will help you, and we can actually track it that way. So when you come in to get on the scale, you don't have to download it right now, but when you get on the scale, it'll send you a link, and then we can keep that information on I keep it all over, but I have a lot of patients that have a tendency to travel a lot. So I can find an in-body anywhere, and then they can go get on it there, and it ports into their app wherever you are, and then you can share the app with me. So I have patients that are virtual and they don't live in the area, so I just send them to a facility that has an in-body. And this is not a scale you would get for home. It's a $10,000 scale, so it wouldn't be something that everybody would buy, and that's truly why we only have one anyway. So what can be achieved in 21 days? We are going to address toxins. We want to maintain a healthier weight. We want to create a healthier lifestyle. I want you to have more energy, and I want to improve your digestion. If we can get those things done, then the weight starts to peel off. So we've done studies with this purification program, and everyone's their weight went down and their lipids returned to healthy values. That's your cholesterol levels, especially the LDLs. So if you're doing the purification program, you're going to have 4 things. You're going to have SP cleanse. You have 1 box of that. You have one shake powder, and that was your choice, whatever you decided. Gastrofiber. Most everybody's doing gastrofiber. Nobody's doing whole food right now, and green food. So you have 1 SP cleanse, 2 gastrofiber, 1 green food, and 1 powder. The true kit comes with 2 powders, and it makes it more expensive. What I do is most everybody may need a second one. I do 1 to 2 shakes a day, so 1 gets me through. But if you're new to it or you'd like to do more shakes, and you're welcome to do them after the cleanse, you may need to pick up another cleanse shake. So the SP cleanse, all about supporting the healthy liver, the kidney, the gallbladder function, helps with digestion, but it has a couple things in there. Most excitingly, the Spanish black radish. This is the number one thing that supports that phase 2 detoxification enzyme pathway. So we really want to get that in, and that's not something you go to Publix or your organic food place and buy. I've tasted them, at the farm when I went up to Standard Processes farm. Very, very strong, very bitter, and it wouldn't be something we would go and eat. But juniper berry, and these are all things that are foods. It's not just foods you would go out and eat. If you're drinking gin, you maybe get a little juniper berry there. Here's your grapefruit. So if you can't have wine on this, but that's your next best thing. And then fenugreek is really good for cholesterol metabolism. And after about I'll say the 4th or 5th day, you will have sometimes when you sweat, you'll smell, what you're smelling is the fenugreek seed, but that's your body starting to detox and kind of cleanse itself, which is what we want. So your powders, you're going to have a choice of SP Complete Dairy Free or the Veggie Pro chocolate or vanilla. So you've already gotten that, or if you haven't, Tina and Marianne both have them there. So that's going to give you your amino acids, your essential fatty acids, and other vitamins. It's going to help support your muscular health, your intestinal health, healthy liver function, and help to maintain a healthy weight. And it has, SP Complete has whey protein in it. Most everybody's doing the Veggie Pro. So that has, let me see if I have a slide on Veggie Pro. I don't have a slide on Veggie Pro, but Veggie Pro is sweetened with monk fruit. So, and it has the plant protein. So it's yellow pea, pumpkin seed, and sesame seed protein. So that's a plant-based protein, which I personally have shifted my diet to a little bit more plant-based protein, and I like it. I still do some animal protein, but a good portion of my days sometimes are kind of vegan days. The SP Green Food, we'll be using that after the 2nd and 3rd week, so don't have to worry about that today, but it's really important. It's got all those kale and broccoli and Brussels sprouts that are really important for the nutrients to really help to restore the liver. Buckwheat as well. So they help for control your metabolism and act as an antioxidant, but they help to really, detoxify the liver. So it continues that antioxidant process in the liver after we're finished with the SP cleanse. Like I said, these are sometimes foods you're not going to go out and eat, but they're very good for you. The gastrofiber, it's going to soften the stool. It'll help with regular elimination. It's going to help your gut. So it has prosymbiotic in there. You hear me talk about that. Prosymbiotic helps to support the immune system by building the good gut flora. So most people are taking a probiotic, and if we don't take a prebiotic, then we're not feeding the good guys. If we don't feed the good guys, then what happens is we have a death of good guys. So with the prosymbiotic, you have pre and probiotic. So you're feeding those good guys, and you're building your gut flora. So you're building your colony. So you shouldn't have to take it a lot. But the gastrofiber will help do that in the beginning here. It also helps with your lipid panels. So if you have high cholesterol, more worried about your LDL, and that's usually related to eating too much sugar, but I'll talk about that in the next couple of weeks. If you're doing the SP Detox Balance, which is the powder only, works the same way, helps to, it's just a little bit easier if patients don't want to do all the pills. And if you're doing supplements, you're always welcome to put them in your shakes. I have no problem with that. I would open the capsule though, don't put the whole capsule in. But the SPD Detox Balance works just as well, just not my personal favorite, but that doesn't mean you won't like it. Has the same things in there. It's vegan and gluten-free. It has the pea protein, the pumpkin seed, and the sesame seed proteins. And they only had the chai flavor, which you've heard me say it was like Apple Jacks, the milk in Apple Jacks cereal when you were a kid. Or now they have an unflavored. So that's 2 scoops per shake, and you have to have 2 shakes per day. You'll get 2 containers of the Detox Balance, and that will last you the whole time. So there's some other supportive products. If you feel like you need more protein and you want to use a whey protein, you're welcome to do that. You should be all taking a fish oil anyway, if you're not already. Most of my patients I know are already on them. Gymnema is great if you're having some sugar cravings and you can't get past that from over the holidays or from over you put on the COVID-19. This will help to maintain a healthy blood sugar, but it'll help to decrease your sugar need, for that sugar craving. Prosymbiotic, it's already in the gastrofiber, but if you feel like you need more, we just talk to either Dr. Cooper or I, and we can help you out with that. So this is what doesn't work, eating as little as possible. But this is what does work. If you're fueling your body properly, so remember, if you don't eat enough, then your body says, holy crap, we must be in famine. So we're going to hang on to everything. And we'll start muscle wasting. We'll start eating muscle so that we can survive. Well, we don't want that. That's the very thing we want to build. And you hear me talk about as we age, as women especially, men it happens too, just not as the greatest of extent. But when we start hitting our 50s, we lose 1 to 3% of our muscle mass due to a process called sarcopenia. That means flesh death. So guess what it's replaced with? Exactly, fat. So we lose muscle and we put fat on. That's why you may be the same weight you were when you were younger, but it looks a whole lot different. Because remember, fat and muscle, they weigh, if I say a pound of feathers and a pound of bricks, which weighs more? Well, they weigh the same, but it takes a lot of feathers to make a pound. Same thing with muscle and fat. A pound of muscle and a pound of fat weigh the same, but it takes a lot more fat to make a pound than it does muscle. So we want to fuel your body properly. And when you're hungry after you eat, most likely it's because you didn't feed your body what it needed. So say you're hungry, you have a candy bar for a snack and you eat it, but then you're hungry. So you think, oh, my body just wants another candy bar. Well, no, your body's telling you, hey, stupid, you fed me, but you didn't feed me anything that was nutrition rich or fiber dense. So when you look at what does work here, fueling your body properly is really the key. So first 10 days, this is what your diet will be: unlimited raw organic fruits and vegetables. Well, fruits, not unlimited, but definitely raw vegetables, leafy greens, twice as many vegetables as fruit. Very important. You can have lentils, quinoa, and raw seeds, spring water, high quality oils. And then we're talking about, if you have canola oil and you have vegetable oil, go ahead and get rid of them now. If they're not open, donate them to your food bank. But you don't need those anymore. You're not going to, after we get done with this, you're not going to want to eat them anymore. So I'm talking about your extra virgin olive oils, your macadamia nut oil, your avocado oils, all those things that are expeller pressed, and look for organic, of course. And then throw some exercise in there. You need at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes, at least 4 days a week. I would suggest at least 30 minutes a day. And if you can do an hour a day, that's even better. So I would say 30 minutes for cardio and 30 minutes for some strength training. And day 11, 12, 21, we'll worry about that. So let's talk about the first 10 days. So unlimited fresh vegetables, but not unlimited fruit. I'm going to change that on my slide. Average serving size is half a cup. And in your book, it shows you all that. So if you don't have a book and you need a book, let us know. We can give you the link for it online. Your goal is to eat twice as many veggies as fruits. You want to eat organic as much as possible. You want to eat raw, stir-fried, roasted, sauteed, lightly steamed. No dried or canned veggies. Frozen is okay. Eat rainbow for nutrients. And remember, when we're talking about fruit and vegetables, we have the same nutrition in them. The only difference, if it's got a color to it, it's going to have vitamins to it. And the only difference between vegetables and fruit is the sugar. So we're trying to drop the sugar down, especially if you have a weight management issue. If you want to lose a few pounds, we want to back you away from the sugar. Eat high water and high fiber foods and try new ones. So we in our house choose organic veggies and fruits. We try to buy local and seasonal. The produce is fresher because it hasn't been transported all over Kingdom Come. Local farmers, are passionate about what they grow. When our blueberry season comes around, I'll email everybody the link, because if you haven't had King's Farms blueberries, it's a must do. And they only sell them a certain time of the year. So he's passionate about what he does. So I will make sure you have that link, and it's worth the trip to Eustis with your passport. Local organic farmers, they compost, use natural predators for insect maintenance. Like at Standard Process at the farm, they have bird barriers and bee barriers where they encourage the birds to come in to eat the bugs, and they have bees to pollinate. So it's kind of cool how they do that. And they handpick weeds. I know they have a thing they sit on. They actually handpick the weeds. So it's pretty cool. We use a hydroponic tower at home, a living tower, and we'll grow lettuce and kale and green beans and herbs on it. We have citrus fruit on our side yard and bananas that we don't use any pesticides on. So it's kind of cool to be able to go out and pull fruit off a tree and eat it right there. And they always, they taste better. You can taste a big difference in them. So when you do your salads, you can have salads with unlimited fresh vegetables. Don't use a pre-made salad dressing unless you can find something that's good and organic, doesn't have soybean oil in it or any hydrogenated oils or sugar, because you're notorious. And you'll think, oh, not my dressing. Go look in your refrigerator after we're done, and you'll go, oh, yeah, I need to get rid of that. Just use your olive oil and your balsamics, and some of your balsamics have a lot of sugar in them. Like we have in Mount Dora, there's a place you can get your oils and your balsamics, but a lot of the balsamics have a lot of sugar in them, so be mindful of that. I like, if it has a little bit of avocado and tomato on it, I'm fine with that dressing. So you can make your own, and in that recipe book that I showed you in the beginning, there's some dressings in there as well. It's got about 70, 80 pages of different recipes. So fruits, 1 cup equals 1 serving. Remember, eat twice as many vegetables as fruit. Organic as possible. No fruits. Or no fruit. Sorry. Limit only to low glycemic index foods. That's what GI stands for, glycemic index. So berries, apples, pears are going to be lower in sugar than bananas. If you're going to make it in a shake with the blender, you can use a half of a medium banana. But remember, bananas are pretty high in sugar. So if you're trying to drop a few pounds and you want to have more of a healthy weight management program, then watch your sugar in your shakes. So here's my number 1 rule: eat twice as many veggies as fruit. I know that I've said this like 3 times already, but this is really important, especially if you want to have a successful weight management program. I mean, I have people that think they're doing the right thing because they're eating a ton of fruit, and they don't lose any weight, but they're actually, compounding the problem. So you can have the lentils and the quinoa, half a cup cooked, 1 serving per day. Like I said, if you're on a weight management program, I would certainly limit that. You can cook them. We have a rice cooker, so I'll cook the quinoa right in the rice cooker. It's same as cooking rice: 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups of water, and it's quinoa, not quinoa. And then your oils and your fats, the pasture raised, the Vital Farms. This is what the butter we use here at home. You can get it at Publix. And at least 4 to 7 tablespoons teaspoons of your good oils per day, cold pressed, unprocessed. We've talked about those oils before. You can use fish oil, not my favorite, but you could use it. Butter from organic pasture-fed cows is best. Avoid margarine, spreads, corn oil, canola oil, or any of those hydrogenated oils or trans fats. And if you're not sure what they are, let me, email me or call either Tina or Marianne, or ask Dr. Cooper or ask Dr. J, who's covering for me right now. They can tell you. All right. So let's make some small changes as you go. So your beverages, spring or mineral water, they're good sources. I'm not going to hold you to 64 ounces of water per day, but stay hydrated. You're going to be flushing your body out. Drink half your body weight in ounces is kind of the key I use. But like on a day where I work out harder, I may drink more, and then a day that I don't work out as hard. You can have herbal teas they'll be naturally decaffeinated. You can have green tea, even though it has a little bit of caffeine in it, and try to choose some organic sources. I use a Tazo spicy ginger tea, which I really like. And then I will let you have coffee. It happens that Chef Bob, who's one of our patients, who's had Chef of the Year in 2019, also is a coffee roaster. And so he actually has a Swiss water decaf. So if you want to have a decaf coffee, it has to be a Swiss water decaf, because regular decaf coffee is actually decaffeinated with chlorine. So that's why I want to stay away from that. So I talked to him the other day, and he put this together for us. 99.9% caffeine free, but you put all your sugar in it, and you can't put all your cream in it unless you're going to do like a bulletproof coffee, which is adding the butter and the coconut oils. You're welcome to do that. He did a promo. The promo code is Basudin. That gives you 10% off. He did that for patients. And if you want, he can deliver it to Winter Park Wellness for no charge. If you do that, then if it's from Eustis, when Dr. Cooper can bring it over, I can bring it over. So there's your option for actual local, supporting a local, business, a Swiss water decaf. So if you want that information, I'll get that to you at the end, or I'll give it to Mary Ann and Tina, that way they have it. So here's your regimen. So if you're doing the detox, the SP Balanced Detox, which is just the powder, 2 shakes, 2 scoops in each shake. If you're doing the 21-day purification, they both do the same thing, they just have different names. You're going to do 2 to 3 shakes a day. You don't have to. If you're full, it's okay. You don't have to eat. 2 to 3 shakes per day, 7 SP cleanse 3 times a day, and 3 gastrofiber 3 times a day. Yes, that's a total of 30 capsules a day. It's okay. It's a lot. It's only for 7 days, but it's crucial this first week to get those in, because that's really what's going to help this get us started here. So this is that supplementation routine is what we do for the first week, and we'll change it the next week. So I figure that if everybody starts tomorrow, and if you're not ready to start tomorrow, you'll start on Wednesday. That's fine. I want you to have absolutely enough time to buy the foods that you need and not start and scramble. And if you're just watching tonight and you haven't done it before and you want to pick up your kits tomorrow, you're welcome to do that as well. So the beauty of food as a medicine is it's the choice to heal and promote health can begin as soon as your next meal. That's what's so fabulous about it. It doesn't work quite so well with medicine. Medicine's, remember, treating the symptom, not the problem. Not that it's not necessary. Some are and some are not. When I hurt my hand, it was necessary for the first couple days, but after that, it was done. So here's kind of a sample week 1 meal plan. So, because remember, it's all veggies this week. So you can make a shake with blueberries, strawberries, put some vanilla extract in. You can use your vanilla or your chocolate Veggie Pro. Now, personally, what I've done, I mean, I've done these for so many years. I just put it in a blender bottle with a little ball inside, and I use almond milk. And I put the almond milk in, I put my powder in, and then I throw ice on top of that, put the lid on it, shake it up, and the ice keeps it from sticking to the top of the lid. I do that mostly now just because it's easy. I keep one always in the refrigerator. If I get a little hungry, I can take a couple swigs of that. So I get my protein in, and you can use it to take my shakes with. Sorry, my supplements with. Some carrot chips with guacamole. These are things that we've made. These are our meals on the right. Strawberry spinach salad with homemade fig infused vinaigrette. Be creative. Mango avocado SP shake. Avocado in a shake makes it so super creamy. And you can use an avocado, which are your good oils, instead of a banana, which would be a lot of sugar. So sweet potato with roasted broccoli and sauteed yellow squash with a side salad. That's another good one there. So your first task is really to learn to make master a nutritious, delicious shake. This is one of my personal favorites. I call it the Green Goddess Shake. You can use half a cup of coconut milk, unsweetened, or any kind of nut milk. In your book, on the very last page of the 21-day book, you can open it up, and there's a part that you can tear off. That's your shopping list. So if it's not on there, you can't have it. The only exception I give to you is that if you want to use a nut milk like cashew, almond, hemp, coconut, I don't care, any kind of nut milk, as long as it's unsweetened, you're welcome to use that. You can just use a little bit of water, because I like my shakes a little bit thinner over the years. You put your 2 scoops of your powder in. I put hemp hearts, chia seeds, flax seeds, a little bit of frozen mango, organic mango, a little bit of a frozen banana. We have bananas here, so when the bananas are produced, I wait till they're ripe, break them in half, and freeze them after you peel them. Don't freeze them with the peel on. It's a pain. And then a handful of frozen kale. So if we have kale or spinach that's kind of not really salad worthy anymore, I just toss the whole bag in the freezer, and then I open it up, grab a handful, and throw it in my shake. You don't even really taste it. You just get the benefit of the fiber that's in it. Put them all into the blender. I use a NutriBullet. It's still going. Still going after all these years. I'm trying to get a new one, but the thing still keeps working. So I've had this one for 10 or 12 years now. So they last for a long time. So if you're going to get one, get the 900. Don't get the 1200. You don't need that. The 900 one is the speed of it. So that's going to be my present to myself someday. It's hard to do that when ours still works. So when in doubt, avoid anything not listed in the program. So this is really important to your success. So margarine, spreads, corn oils, all that stuff is going to be out for now on anyway. So start getting rid of it. No caffeine, no alcohol. Yes, you can do this for 21 days. It's only 21 days. No coffee, tobacco, or other stimulants, no soft drinks, nuts, beans, dairy, or grains. So you can have seeds on this, and that's in on your little shopping list. Processed or refined foods. I want you really trying to get back into that whole food thought process, back to the beginning where we're getting the nutrition from our food, not just eating to eat. No dried or canned vegetables or fruit, no cured, smoked, or luncheon meats. And we'll talk about that later on why. So your supplements, I'll remind you again, supplements for week 1, 2 to 3 shakes a day, 7 SP cleanse 3 times a day. That'll be 1 bottle with 3 left over. And you can just throw those in the next day. 3 gastrofiber 3 times a day, or if you're using the whole food fiber, it's 1 tablespoon per shake. So you can add them to the shakes. I would open the capsules and throw the capsules away. And if you're going to do that, maybe try the SP Balance Detox next time. I just wasn't a fan of it. So exercise. I know I've said exercise before. So we want to move your body, whatever you can do to support it during these 21 days. This is really important for the lymph. It's important for the muscles. It pushes out toxins. So we want to really get that going. Also, it helps with weight management. So I always say cardio is like paying off your credit card. And you just have to pay it off every month. And your strength training is like paying off your mortgage. Once you pay off your mortgage, you just maintain, but you're always going to have to do cardio. So pick something you like to do. If you're not a runner, don't run. Ride a bike, do an elliptical, walk, swim, whatever you want to do for your cardio. Everybody has a pedometer on their phone, or you have a Fitbit. I use this Aura ring, and that's what it measures everything, and measures my heart rate, and it measures my HRV, and it measures my sleep and my movement, and more than you'll ever want to know. I just don't wear a watch. So Fitbit's great. Or if you carry your phone around with you, I just have a tendency not to carry my phone with me. When we ride our bikes, we have computers on it. So that information ports to this and that ports to my phone. So your goal is 10,000 steps a day, every day. So if your pedometer says about 6,000 or 7,000, you still have some time to go to get busy and get that done tonight. And for muscle tone, I like strength training. I mean, weight training is my favorite because you can get a lot done in a little bit of time. You can use machines, free weights, bands. There's so much out there. And most people have little places in their homes now because of COVID, they're not going to the gym. So make sure you have something you can do. And if you need ideas of what to do for workouts, let me know and I'll send you something. So your goal is 3 to 4 times a week. And it's okay to do something every day. For me, I do something every day and I just vary it. If I feel particularly tired, I don't do something that day, but I try to do something active every day. My latest thing is I have a VR headset and it has boxing. And I think that is the coolest thing in the whole wide world. And I bought hand weights, wrist weights to do it. And I did it the other day and I could, barely feed myself because my arms are so fatigued. So there are all different ways you can exercise. With my hands, I can't do a lot of stuff with upper body for the gym. So I'm kind of using that as a substitute. So here's some other tips to make the most out of your purification program. So you can do a lymphatic drainage massage, yoga, breathing, and meditation are super good for you. Epsom salt baths are good at drawing. Infrared sauna therapy. I know somebody there has an infrared sauna. Sleep and definitely hydration. Most people aren't drinking enough fluids. So here's your plan of action. Okay, your start date is January 13th or tomorrow if you're ready. Read the program guide again. And remember, tear off that little back page because that's your shopping list. You can go online, and if you need this link, if you've not done the detox before, this is always interesting to see what kind of toxins you're exposed to and you see your score. So if you want this link, I'll have Tina or Marianne send the link to you. And actually, I'll just put it in the email tomorrow with the recording. So mark your calendars. So we're going to have a class next Monday, the next 3 Mondays. So we'll finish on February 1st. And we will be done in time before Super Bowl, so no problem. But think of some creative things to eat during if you're watching football. You can do guacamole and carrot chips. There's all kind of things you can do. Kale chips are also pretty cool to do, if you want to be creative. So if you miss a class, we'll have they're on the website. There's also some old classes I did, but we'll actually record these and I'll send you a link for them and I'll put them on YouTube so you can access them. Make a list of your questions for next week. You're welcome to email me. My personal email, if you have a pencil, is dr.b12@earthlink.net. And that's my personal email. I check it every morning at 3:45, and I may not respond to you right at that moment, but you will get an answer. And if you want a question right away, call the office, and if they don't have the answer, they'll get it. But Dr. Cooper's done it, Tina's done it, Marianne's done it, everybody's done it in the office, so they're very well versed at it. Make sure you have a blender for shakes. You don't have to go buy a Vitamix. I mean, Vitamixes are really nice. I like the NutriBullet. It's quick, it's easy to clean, and you can't kill it. So take your 20% coupon to Bed Bath & Beyond while they're still open and buy yours there. Purchase 3 to 4 veggies, 3 to 4 days of veggies at a time. Because I find that for me, we kind of, you get to the point where you're not as hungry. The first week you think, oh, I'm never going to eat again. So you think then you crave all the foods you can't have. But after the second week, when your body starts kicking into gear, you'll find that you're satisfied because you're eating foods that are nutrition rich and fiber dense. So you may need less food. So you don't want to buy too much that goes bad. And any vegetables, just an idea, any vegetables that start to go bad, chop them up, freeze them, use them for soup later, or make a soup at the end of the week. So that's another way you can utilize those. So buy some fresh, some frozen. Try using like cauliflowered rice. We use a lot of that. Like do a stir fry instead of rice. We use the cauliflowered rice. You could use quinoa, but quinoa still has some carbohydrates. The cauliflower rice, or rice cauliflower and rice broccoli, all those work great for that. And then I just break an egg in there and stir it up with the veggies, and it's awesome. So you can prepare. I mean, being prepped for the week is also helpful. Prepare chopped veggies, fruits in your snacks ahead of time. You know, your chips and guacamole, those are easy. Hummus, there's cauliflower hummus. We found a couple different hummuses that you can find at Publix. You can make your own hummus. Any of those things you can Google. Hummus, you know, made out of cauliflower, and they're super simple to make. And if you have a NutriBullet or Vitamax or Ninja, those are all great, and you can use those to make those. All right, so that's a lot. Most of you have done this before, so you should be ready to go. So remember, if you don't take care of your body, where will you live? So I love this quote. I really regret eating healthy today, said no one ever. So I'll be back here, same time, same station, and that'll be next week.